Hello, I'm Ianifa Lisa G. Nash, Ifa Namowade, and this is my short take on the religion in What's a White Girl Like This Doing in a Religion Like Ifa. Is Ifa a religion? What is a religion? I see that a religion is something born of mental supremacy. A religion is born when we try to, the mind is running the show and we want life to have rules. Right? We write things down in books, we have commandments. We have pages and pages and pages of ethical prescriptions against this, that, and the other thing, right? I'm not saying that these things have not served their purpose in our evolution. I'm saying this is what the mind likes, right? It likes rules that are unchanging, right? That it can follow and know it is good, okay? It likes to do things the same way, in the same time, over and over and over again, so things are predictable, so the mind feels like it has control. We can see this about this thing that is part of every one of us now. We've had wide experience of it. It's the same way all over the world. And when we look at these venerable wisdom traditions, we see that it's been this way for at least 10,000 years because people have been talking about it in the same way for at least 10,000 years. This is the mind. This is how it likes things. A religion is a mode of goodness. What am I going to say about this? Look, the reality is that I feel myself like religion is a dangerous travesty, okay? That when the mind gets hold of, I've said this before, but I'm going to keep on saying it, when the mind gets hold of spiritual power and spiritual truth and begins to try to cut it down to its size, we get in really, really terrible trouble. Have I offended everybody yet? Because I'm still saying that this terrible travesty has a beautiful, honorable place in our species evolution, okay? But I still think it's very, very dangerous, okay? Because there's something that happens with the mind when it cuts things down into pieces. It tends to kill them. Have you noticed that? I mean, the evidence is all around us now, everywhere. When the mind cuts living being, which is always vaster than mind can encompass, down to its size, it tends to kill the thing. It burns the village in order to save it over and over and over again. Right? You have to laugh because it's really so not funny. Look at what this knife of the mind has done to all our relations, right? It's really hard to just look that in the eye, in the mirror, and say, that was me. But it is, okay? The mind tends to kill everything when it gets hold of these great powers, these gifts that come from the older, vaster intelligences that are part of this field of creation, and tries to cut them down. Dude, it's very violent. It's very violent because those gifts come to us to help us in our unique and uniquely difficult human task, right? But then when we turn our knife of mind on them and start trying to control them, like, well, we always do this on Sundays at this time, and then we're good with God. Well, look, I don't really hardly need to say anything because we can see what the results of that are, okay? So, religion arose as a phenomenon among the human species in a wave, in a certain period of evolution all over the earth, right? Things got very codified and elaborated, right? There's been beauty, incredible data about how things work in religion as in science. However, it's also intensified warfare to a degree that, like, I'm sure the old people could never have imagined. Bless them. I hope too many of them didn't have to look at this and see this coming, right? Because it's like, ouch. And this is why we have people all over this planet saying, I'm an atheist, because they think that's the solution to the horrible violence that we've done to each other by mental supremacy applying itself to spiritual truth. We've got to move on. But Ifa does not have to move on because Ifa was here before mental supremacy, okay? Ifa, you know, we say, oh, the verses, you know, they're 10,000 years old, 8,500 years old. Listen, there was something there before them, right? There were people there before them. There was the spirit of Ifa moving in the people before it organized itself into verses that people told us stories over and over again and associated with certain Odus. Ifa was there. Ifa is very old, okay? It is older than mental supremacy. And the fact that Ifa has encoded its wisdom in rhythm, in story, in song, in poetry for 10,000 years and been very obdurate about refusing to write it down and kill it, means that Ifa is not truly a religion, okay? I use the word religion. I use it always in quotes, but I use religion to identify Ifa and my work in Ifa to people who live more fully within modernity, more fully within mental supremacy here in the United States, because they understand that. And they say, oh, that means you should have the right to do what you're doing, right? It's a helpful opening. But I don't accept it. I don't accept that Ifa is a religion. Ifa is alive. Ifa is still growing. Ifa has not confined itself within the pages of a book. Okay? Ifa is not about rules. Iwa Pele is not about rules. Ifa does not mortify the body. Ifa does not mortify the flesh. It's older than that. It does not say, oh, on this earth we are in sin and we have to get away from all of this in order to experience heaven. No, Ifa says reliably for thousands and thousands of years, along with a lot of other people on this earth, no, our job is to bring heaven to earth increasingly, progressively, always. That's not a religion, people. Ashe, ashe, ashe.